On this episode of Abandoned Cape Breton, I ventured deep into the beautiful Richmond County, somewhere off the Fleur-de-Lis Trail, to explore the remains of a town built around a mine. Not of coal, but of metals. Specifically, lead, zinc, copper, silver, and gold. Of the town, a town in name only and abandoned in 1956, practically nothing is left. But the mine, though very far from working condition, is still intact enough to discern where every building stood, some well enough to tell exactly what it was used for. For many years, this would have been a dangerous place to visit alone. Falling down a mine shaft here would probably be certain death. In 1995, shaft capping was completed, making it much safer for people like me and you who are fascinated with forgotten and abandoned places. This is the Stirling Mine. Along alternating dirt roads and old narrow highways with single-lane bridges are many abandoned homes. I couldn't resist the urge to explore at least one of them. Just a few kilometers from the mine entrance, I stopped by this abandoned trailer-type home. According to this hand-drawn map by Jerry MacLeod, it seems to be on the location that once belonged to O'Coin. I doubt this was the same person, as this looks rather recent. As ever, take nothing, and leave only footprints. In fact, the spices in the cupboard looked almost usable. However, I had a mine to find. Copper and lead zinc were discovered in Strachan's Brook, then called Copper Creek, in 1885. Early mining was focused on copper and conducted with little science and simple tools, leaving the mine site unprofitable. As so often happens, an old mine becomes a new mine when metallurgy and technology advance enough to make separating lead and zinc minerals from the ore more profitable. In 1915, the Stirling Mining and Smelting Company acquired the land from John MacDonald, a farmer who happened to own the land at the time. By 1925, surface construction, shaft sinking, and underground development was underway, and by the time the mine was ready to go, metal prices had taken a dive, and mining was placed on standby in 1930. However, production did begin in 1935 and lasted until 1938. After the closure, the site remained dormant until 1952. When production resumed. During the second period of operation, a second shaft was sunk and more underground development occurred. All operations ceased in 1956, and all buildings and equipment were removed. However, concrete foundations from the site structures remain and are the subject of today's exploration. Driving into the mine site, I was impressed with the condition of the ruins. While still somewhat dangerous, it was quite a bit safer than I expected in spots. The first thing I wanted to explore was the crusher house and number 2 shaft. It's amazing the hopper was still here after all these years. And of course, the number 2 shaft is now completely sealed off, which is safer. The raw material of value crushed in this building would have been 4% to 30% zinc, with as high as 7.5% lead and 3.5% copper, with trace amounts of gold and silver, which all would have been chemically separated after being reduced in size. As far as precious metals go, the Stirling mine produced 3,401 ounces of gold between 1936 and 1938, and 13,280 ounces between 1952 and 1956. For those unfamiliar with mine terms, speaking for myself here, I've never worked in a mine. The mine dry is analogous to a locker room. This building would have contained a toilet, a sink, probably a shower. It's sort of a home away from home for the miners. This is all that is left of this one, including some underground passages that would have connected to other buildings and the mine shaft. I didn't bother going in there, as I didn't have a light with me, and it looked filled a little, and I wasn't crawling in. It would have originally led to shaft number 2, which has since been sealed. This building was the first and last stop each day for the miners that worked here. Employees could store their street clothes here and hang their uniform to dry for the next workday. Hence the dry. The milling house is the most impressive structure on the whole site. After 65 years, the structure still looks pretty good for living in the elements. Once the ores were broken down with the waste rock, this is where they were conveyed to the milling site, where further processing breaks down the ores into finer particles. Milling separates the valuable minerals from the gangue, and smelting breaks down the minerals to yield the pure metal. Most of this process would have taken place in this building. Straight across from the mill would have been the core storage building. Today, you can see where the loading docks were and different storage areas. The path to the old 1930s mine site was somewhat too grown in to drive through, so I opted to get footage there from the air only. Located across Strachan's Brook, which runs through the entire site, the original mine site is also still there in similar shape to the 1950s mine. The layout is pretty much the same type of buildings, just on a smaller scale. Other buildings I didn't explore on the site include shops, warehouses, offices, a dining hall, explosives magazine, boiler hoist room, substation, as well as concrete channels and culverts and other drainage structures. This type of hard rock mining is primitive compared to today's methods, so this site might once again become a mine. Today's techniques and science are so much more advanced and sophisticated that extracting minerals from the earth here might prove profitable again, and way more environmentally friendly than in previous years. The types of metals found under Strachan's Brook are used more today than when the mine operated. For example, today, the metals potentially mined here would be used in the creating of wind turbines, which require about 6 tons of zinc per megawatt of capacity, and also in electric vehicle bodies, and in various parts of EVs and solar panels. The deposit also contains an unknown amount of magnesite, which had no economic value when Stirling Mine operated, so nobody even looked at it twice. Overall, this has been my favorite excursion to date. There's so much to explore here, and I left many things for another visit. I couldn't resist doing at least one donut on the floodplain before I left, but I will definitely come back another day and check out the old mine site and a few other buildings that I didn't get around to this time. There is a ton of information to be seen and found about this site on Stirlingmine.ca. It is run by a local, Jeanette Strachan, who grew up in Framboise nearby, and it has loads of images, interviews, and other great information worth checking out if you are interested in the mine. That was a look at the Stirling Mine in Richmond County, Cape Breton. Where will I go next on this beautiful island known for its stunning landscapes and rich history? Do you know of any abandoned sites you'd like to visit with me? Let me know in the comments, and hit that like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest video. Join me next time as we embark on a journey to uncover the mysteries hidden within abandoned Cape Breton.